The energy is absolutely crazy. And there are so many things happening right now, I don't even know where to begin. But as your planetary defense commander, I should probably point out that in the United States of America, we had the highest amount of coronavirus deaths in a single day, coming in at 3,243. If average that over a year, that is definitely over 1 million. And the other day, we lost Chuck Yeager, an American hero, a legend, an Air Force total badass, a man's man, a guy's guy, and the guy who broke the sound barrier and was one of the coolest pilots of all time. So smoke them if you got them, and drink up if that is your choice and flavor. Oh, and then I am going to probably be talking about myself some, because the energies around me is crazy, dude. Everybody's going crazy, and the days are crazy. And then remember the other day they were like, "Hey man, the Israeli Space Force dude, the ex-Israeli Space Force guy said, or space defense person said that the Galactic Federation is real." I think he said Trump knows about it, but I'm sure all presidents know about aliens. And that there are bases on Mars, which is pretty much falling in line with everything I've told y'all. Although I never use the term Galactic Federation because no extraterrestrials have ever told me that's what it would be called or whatever. But I have said that there is a possibility, I believe, that I could be associated with the Valiant Thor family. Valiant Thor supposedly came from Venus, stayed at the White House for like 2 weeks in 1955-ish. And there's always just been a giant mystery around planet Venus. Cheers, y'all. To better days ahead, and to a Merry Christmas, and to a Happy Hanukkah, and to a kick-ass Kwanzaa. And thank you to everybody out there. That is cool. And thank you to anyone out there and everyone out there that has been cool, that has watched me, liked me, laughed at me, laughed with me, learned from me, supported me, helped me, prayed for me, thought good thoughts about me, say good things. Because holy smokes, it has been a wild year. And death has been the main story from front to back. It started with Kobe, and now we're on Chuck Yeager. So cheers to better days for the living, and give thanks and gratefulness to those who have passed before us, who got us as far to this point. And I do a fundraiser for December. It's for like all next year and everything. But since my digital hackers have been hitting me super hard, I'm not doing it through any digital shit. And so I'm going straight to the mail. Apparently the people who tried to shut me down were upset. So I got a postcard in the mail today from Rio Grande, Texas. And it says, and it's backwards. Oh, maybe you can read it extra special backwards. It says Colorado is calling you have overstayed your welcome. And if you look at the U, it's an H, and if you look at the your, it's YOHR. Colorado's calling. You've overstayed your welcome. The card came from Rio Grande in Texas. And so, as Planetary Defense Commanders told you guys that whether or not the virus is man-made or natural, it is real. And that's been my stance the whole year. You don't want it. You don't want to give it to your family. You don't want to give it to your friends. You don't even want to give it to your coworkers. You don't even want to give it to your enemies. And so avoid it all year long. So it's weird. It's like Colorado's calling. Colorado had 267 coronavirus deaths today. Colorado has a population of 6 million people. So if you did the math out, Texas has 30 million people. So 5 times that that would be like 1,000, over 1,000 people dead from coronavirus in Colorado today. Technically it's only 267, but their population is smaller. And so I don't know why the fuck Colorado would be pissed off at me. I have loved Colorado my entire life. That my dad lived there for over like 20 years. I've skied on those mountains. I have ridden motorcycles with my dad, and I love Colorado. And I buried my dad's ashes there on a mountain in Vail in 2015. Oh yeah, Elon Musk moved to Texas officially today or yesterday. Joe Rogan moved here, I don't know, like a month ago. I remember like 5 months ago, I was like, yo, dude, they're going to move here. They're both of them. Here they come. And the whole thing is like, Texas is supposed to be cool, man. I don't know. Yeah, okay. And I know people are always like, hey, dude, don't talk to me about politics. I'm like, yo, dude. Like, right now, politics is the main story, but it's technically not politics because we had an election. The guy I voted for won by 7 million votes. People feel that's not the truth. Well, you're free to feel however you want to. Technically, Trump has been like, one tie and negative 51 or 2 or 3 in court. But we have the grand drama coming up where Texas filed a suit against the changes in the law before the election. And then 17 other states joined suit. And so the the 4 states that are accused of wrongdoing, changing the laws ahead of time, have till 3 p.m. tomorrow, Thursday, to answer. And then the Supreme Court may or may not hear it. So I would put it as a 10% chance that it gets overturned and 90% chance that that the election numbers stick. And so we have over a month since the election. So the emotional civil war in the United States has never been higher. And I've always said the Civil War a dumb idea. Like, you have to have fucking teamwork. When you had, I think there were 3 million people in America when they had the Civil War. We had 330 million people. And when we had a Civil War, they didn't have an Army, a Navy, an Air Force, a Marines. So it's just so weird, man. And I gotta say, our president has tweeted 50 times about the election since Chuck Yeager died. Never once said, hey, cheers to he died in 97, which any man will say that is a good life. He lived well, was a cool dude to the end, had some amazing stories. Everybody spoke highly of him. And it was Air Force, like my dad, my stepdad, my sister, Ange. So yeah, man, I don't know. I know everybody gets like it's triggered by, but yeah, 3,002 over 9/11. We're having 9/11 every fucking day. And my mom, what did I do there? Just had her birthday the other day. We're both Sagittarius. Like it's been my priority to make sure when I go see my mom before Christmas or around Christmas, to not bring the coronavirus home to her or any of my loved ones, family, friends. And so wearing a mask to me isn't that big a deal, man. But it's definitely been annoying to ask people to wear a mask. But annoying ain't gonna kill me. How's my hair doing? It's getting long. So and we have solar storms hitting, and so we're definitely on super duper high alert for earthquakes and volcanic activity. Another thing I want to say is, so like, President didn't even, maybe you don't know Chuck Yeager died, dude, an all-American hero. But then on the flip side, they're like, we're investigating Biden's son's taxes. And, you know, I've said, hey, man, don't trust politicians. So, I just want to say this one more time. In like March, Trump said we have 15 coronavirus cases that will soon drop to 0. And I said then, if he's right, I'll vote for him. If he's wrong, I'll vote against him. And then he said it'll just disappear the whole fucking year. And then he said it'll disappear after the election. And today is December 9th, and we had 3,243 people die in the United States. And he hasn't even mentioned the fucking, he's like a doll. He pulls his string and he says two things: rigged election, or I deserve credit for the vaccine. That's all he can say these days. Since the fucking election, he showed no compassion, no interest, no leader. Like, he's not a good planetary, he's not a good commander in chief. That is how I feel, 100%. And I like to shut up about politics. But it is a fucking clusterfuck foobar, snafu bar, kabuki theater, weird ass shit show. And I can't believe, while everybody's fighting about this shit, Congress, who knew for 8 months that the winter wave was going to be bad. Congress knew and did nothing. Oh man, did I break the lights already? Shit. So that's what I'm talking about, dude. You can't pay attention to political shit. The people needed to come together. The people need to come together. To represent themselves. Sidebar. The idea that I've been calling myself Planetary Defense Commander for like 6 years is some of the craziest shit ever. You know? But it goes into the whole thing about that was pre-Space Force. My belief that there are alien or outside of Earth elements that we are fucking dealing with. And I have said many, many, many times that it feels like there are Martian elements that came over in the 90s, if not earlier. And so it's like Mars has been being controlled by like Earth. Like they've been building up Mars as like some super luxury resort for 20 years. And so that's where all the money has like been going. All the 25 trillion in debt and 25 trillion in for every like it's felt like they're building a luxury world for the super Mars elites and some humans on Mars. And so that to continue doing that, to keep us looking away from the moon, to keep us looking away from Venus, to keep us figuring out our solar physics and shit, that like Earth has been being tricked while Mars has been like, yeah, I'm king shit of the fucking solar system. So as a Christian, I was raised with Jesus, and my grandmother Virginia raised me on the Norse myths. So I was raised Norse Christian. And then the Jedi came when I saw Star Wars. I don't know, man. Anyway, but it's like I got Christians yelling at me like, Christmas is a pagan holiday, like Christmas is evil. And these are Christians. Like, yo, bro, Christmas is awesome, Jesus is great. But it's 2020, maybe more complicated than just like Earth. And so it's best to have a good strategy if you did have to deal with Martians or anybody else or any other planet. And I know at no point in time Jesus would tell you to sell your family or your people down the river. Earth can be a cool place. Earth should be a cool place. Earth is like the new Mount Olympus. And that Mount Olympus should be in bloom. Mount Olympus should not be a super clusterfuck of people arguing about shit that we were discussing in the year 2000. And I've said 100 times that neither one of these 70-year-old guys impresses me that motherfucking much. But I'm like weird optimist, man. And I always have been. I mean, if I was gonna die, I'd like to die with a heroic spirit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and I have been mentioning, okay, the planetary energy is real. And the planets are the heavens. They're not the heavens completely, but the planets are a part of the heavens. The sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, they are part of the thing that makes up the heavens. And so I believe like the planets have their own energy for sure, absolutely. And I've repeated this 1,000 times. That like every religion pretty much throughout history almost associated Mars with war. And back in cavemanish days, the symbol for Mars used to be a knife, which is super 2001, A Space Odyssey, where you have the pre-humans who are like creatures, animals, and then they throw the bone in the air. Oh no, it's the thing is, he figures out how to use a bone as a weapon. And from that, they cut to him throwing the bone in the air, the first animal that figured out how to, and then it like cuts to a space station floating. And then you had, and that was when the monolith showed up. The monolith is like a phone. 1 minute. Just like a monolith looks like a phone. Right? So in 2010 was the next movie in that series. And so now we're in like 2020. So this is like Act 3. And it's weird because if you add the monolith stuff where Generation X started to inject our personality into it, you get the X-Men and the Matrix and superheroes. And just spitball on here, rock and roll was created in like the 50s, so we've only had rock and roll on this planet for 50 years. And so it's crazy. And I'm definitely acting crazy. And it's dangerous. And death has been everywhere. And like almost every other country in the world has offered their people some assistance over the course of the year. Canada's is like 70% of people's normal wages. Other countries are up to 90. Like Europe has handled it. And it's like the 20 years of divide and conquer has broken us down to where everybody hates everybody on red and blue or whatever. They're like, they have divided and conquered us so much. And then a virus broke out. Whether it was released, remember, my theory the whole year was that the information I got was that one group tried to break it out of the Wuhan lab and steal it. A firefight broke out, so just like in a movie like 12 Monkeys, the vial spun forward, hit the ground, and then released. So yes, it was bioengineered, but no, it was not meant to be. But I don't know 100%, and I don't know if we're ever going to know. But I do know it is killing people. And I am worried that the actual seeding of the virus is not in the 7 to 14 day range, it's in a 30-day range. But it definitely seems like if you are the president or a top senator or a congressperson, and I guess really rich, you can get the treatments that will probably save your life and kick the virus's ass. The money, power, and privilege will get you the good stuff. Oh, I want to say a shout out once again to all of Saturday Night Live, one of my favorite institutions. And it was kind of created or came out around the time I was born. And definitely Colin Jost and Michael Che, the dudes on Weekend Update. For the last 5 shows in a row, I think, their Weekend Update, they've mentioned something that I talked about in a live stream before. And this week, Colin just tried to point out that when the president accuses them of stealing it, they're like, you were in charge, dude. You were the head dude. You were in charge of election security for 4 years. Like, it has always been your job to make sure like we have fair elections, that the laws and rules are good, that like they're like, if he was gonna be fighting China and the deep state and Russia and the Democrats, and that you can only fight so many battles. You gotta pick and choose your battles, especially if you're playing 7D chess, man. And so that's why multiple times he goes to blame people for shit, and he's the head dude. I can't remember a time that he's claimed responsibility for something where it's like, I'm sorry, I fucked up, I should have done better. And I've done that many times. So who knows what is going to happen? we're getting hit by solar storms now. Can you feel it? When we argue about everything, we're never gonna, like, we can't take any steps forward in advancement. Oh, and so the National Weather Service today says they're running out of bandwidth. It's always things crazy. Elon Musk puts up like 1,000 satellites, and somehow his electric car company like quadruples in value during the pandemic. And then while Elon puts up 1,000 satellites so he can give bandwidth to anyone, anywhere in the world, all of a sudden the National Weather Service is like, we're out of bandwidth, dude. We got to start restricting our services and access to people. So yeah, there are a lot of people who are like, no matter what, we are headed towards a dark future. But that is not me. I think we're going to get our shit together. But I do not know what's going to happen next. Like I said, we could take guesses. And honestly, I think there's a 9% chance the Hail Mary is not going to work. And so Biden is the new president, and that Biden is the commander-in-chief that I will be planetary defense commandering for. But, like, let's say I am wrong. Let's say the Supreme Court overturns the election. Like, it's not simple. Like, it's not like they couldn't just overturn the votes in 4 states. That doesn't instantly hand a win to Trump. Like, we would literally be in super clusterfuck territory. And remember, you have 50 states that are totally united. They're like all 50 of these mini countries have agreed to be part of one larger country. And that they have a set of rules. And you definitely have 214 other countries who are not associated with us. And you have hundreds of thousands of corporations that are limited liability and share no responsibility to the future and welfare of Americans. And so God and the universe is really putting us through it. But I believe it is to take us to better places. Civilization has come to the brink many times. Like, the reason I became planetary defense commander was because I believed the John Teeter thing, and so we had to avoid World War III in 2015. And we did it. And so from there, it was getting us ready to whatever battles we face in 2020. And we're here. And nominally, the battles of 2020 will be over in 22 days, but then 2021 begins. But hey, guys, this is going to be your chance, your shot. Like, I've made predictions, and that even before the 5 years going in, definitely from 2017 on, after I had realized I believe that planetary energy is legit, and that with Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, and Capricorn, I knew that it was going to be crazy and like not fun. If you look at the tarot card for Capricorn, it's the devil. And then Pluto's Hades. And so there were many signs, and there were multiple signs that Capricorn was just not going to be the funnest time we ever had. And me, being a Sagittarius with a lot of Capricorn placements, like Hellboy, I knew that for me personally, I was going to be going through the shit. I'd be pushing on a string and dealing with a lot of fucking problems and getting attacked and so the period from like November 2017 through December 2020, we're just going to be like a wild action adventure, semi-horror crisis movie of my life. But I have said, and many other people have said, astrologers, that when Saturn and Jupiter leave Capricorn, Saturn leaves around the 16th and the 17th. Jupiter leaves Capricorn on my birthday, the 19th. And they both go into Aquarius. And then they align in the sky, which they call the royal conjunction or the grand conjunction. And that sets like a 20-year cycle, a 200-year cycle, and an 800-year cycle. Because it's been like, the royal conjunction has been happening in earth signs for a while. And this will be the first time in 200 years that it's happened in an air sign. And this will be the first time in 800 years that it happened in pretty much this spot, Capricorn. I should drink more beer. So, like, part of everything I've said this year is that we are looking for a major shift to happen in less than 2 weeks. And when Jupiter and Saturn come together, they're supposed to make the Christmas star effect when they are. And so we are definitely living, in my opinion, in the most interesting times ever. I am glad, lucky, and honored that you guys are here with me. Because it has been a wild, wild ride. And so I've been hanging out, like I told you guys, like at the beginning of the month, that took like my super chat money, that my PayPal, like they hit everything to where I don't trust any of it. And then when I made it through that trap, I got a postcard in the mail today saying, Colorado is calling. You have overstayed your welcome. And so I wasn't surprised when the December, like it start, when they hit all my digital means at the beginning and right before December. I didn't freak out. And luckily I'd saved $1,000 to give to my mama for the used car. So when they shut all that down, I just had to use that. But I could tell they were pissed. So I knew the first week of December, which was going to be not a lot of fun, and that the days leading up to the very final degrees of Jupiter and Saturn in Capricorn, as a Sagittarius, I knew that was going to be like crazy, and the energy was going to be super crazy. Come and tell you all a story. Last night, I fell asleep, and lately I've been, as you may know, I have been watching sitcoms like all year. If I'm not working, and plugged into Matrix, watching it all, I've been watching sitcoms. Brooklyn 99, Parks and Rec, Cheers, Frasier, Friends, Silicon Valley. I've kind of kept them on rotation. And that when I go to sleep, a lot of times I will have a sitcom on. And so last night it was Friends on like season 8. It's a really well written show. And Joey is one of the best characters in sitcoms ever. Anywho, so it was one thing where the episode was like, there was a misunderstanding about buying Rachel's baby. And so when I went to sleep, I had a dream about these really bad marauder guys were trying to kidnap a baby. And then so like we went up to save the baby. And then I got surrounded by a bunch of like horrible, evil demon type people. And then like a rope captured me and pulled me and the baby up. And then but when I got to where the rope was, it was like these dudes who were like missing eyes or missing mouths or like there it was like all like skin grafters. Like they were gonna eat me and the baby. So like I was in the fire, went in the frying pan. So technically it was a total nightmare. And so, you know, it's one thing for me to die or get killed, like someone just shoots me and I die. I don't want to say it's not a big deal, but I'm not really worried about that, you know. Someone shot me through the head, then it's quick and easy. The thing I've never wanted is to like get captured and then just tortured. And some people say, well, do you make that happen just by talking it into existence? Whatever. I'm a screenwriter, so I always see a million things. So this is a fucking nightmare. And it definitely feels like we have dealing with like very cannibalist, anti-human elements. Yeah, well, that dream fucked me up. I can remember in the dream thinking, man, I'm really fucked up as Planetary Defense Commander if we're about to get tortured and eaten. But my whole point of the thing is that seemed to be a very Capricorn, Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter nightmare. Because you and I are friends and tell you pretty much everything. Like I said, like a week ago, I had, I think it was my third or fourth dream ever about a girl named Taylor. She's blonde. She's really cute. She's got a great voice. It was a good one, though. It was the first of the 4 that was decent. Or really, like, good, enjoyable. And it was like her and she had a giant entourage, and everyone was being very nice to me. And then at the very end, her and I hugged, but we hugged for like 3 minutes. It was a really good hug. So I considered that a good dream. Dreams. Some are dreamy dreams, and some are like your worst nightmares. Dreams are crazy, man. And so definitely is it the 9th? We're going to get in, it's about to be the 10th. And this is leading up to a total solar eclipse. My friend, I would love to tell you something. We have had 7 eclipses within the last year. Well, we will after this week. You know what I'm saying? We had a Christmas eclipse, and then we had a July 4th eclipse. Like, how much more movie situation do you need in real life? Like, this is so Ready Player One. I feel like there are tons of great people around. I feel like there are tons of great people on the planet. Smart, cool, talented, caring, kind, giving. And they've just been keeping us all separated or shadow banned or lockboxed. Or we can't get our message over the bullhorns of anger and blame. Oh, and thank you to whoever sent me the tree. This was so cool. This was so cool that I haven't had my own Christmas tree ever. It's the first time in my life I've had it was my Christmas tree. I love you, Christmas tree. And so today I went into the drawer and I had 3 batteries and it required 3. And so my Christmas tree is lit, y'all. So thank you for all good Christmas people, Christmas spirit people out there. And someone had sent me And definitely super thank you to Joe. And the Texas Angel. This is Mary, Mother Mary. My mama's name is Mary. Mary, Mother of Jesus. It had to be real hard to be Jesus' mama. Because mamas love their kids. Mamas worry about their kids. Mamas want what's best for their kids. So I love my mama. I know, like, having a grown-ass man who runs around telling everybody, hey, I'm y'all's planetary defense commander, at a time where not many bodies agree that the whole planet and the whole people should be defended. It's got to be kind of stressful on my mama at times, I imagine. And thank you. When I get some from Amazon, I never know who sent it. And I can't log into my Amazon Prime because I can't find my password. And then I got to have like my credit card to get find my own password. I don't know, it's weird. But someone sent me a Life Recovery Bible in large print. Because either I'm getting old or I stared at the sun one too many times. And I stare at the sun a lot, or I used to. And it's so weird just opening it up. And the first thing I see is forgiveness. I have made mistakes. I've definitely said some dumb and shitty things. And so I ask for your forgiveness. And I've definitely been arrogant, egotistical, talked about women's butts way too much. So I hope you guys will forgive me for all my mistakes, and I will try to get better. And I definitely forgive you guys. Although when people are stealing from me, trying to hurt me or kill me, I definitely get into like verbal self-defense mode. But if you try to kick down my door, I'd definitely hit you in the face with a hammer. But I don't hurt him anyway. I'm just saying, forgiveness, dude. And all the people who are like, I love Jesus. Rarely do I hear them talking about forgiveness. Forgiveness is like my natural superpower. I can stay mad for like 10 minutes, maybe an hour, but that's it. I don't hold grudges. And that, like, Jesus is forgiveness. And so it's just so weird. Like, I love Jesus Christ, but like everybody's my Jesus is cool, and everybody's understanding of Jesus is different. And so if you use Jesus for hatred or anger, I just don't get it, and I never will. I'm prepared to die today or 20 years from now, believing that Jesus is the Prince of Peace and the King of Forgiveness. And he died for all of us to break the original sin bond. That's a whole different thing. Is we're learning about the outside planets and the outside energies, the alien dimensional stuff, the whole Lilith thing. Lilith begat Eden. Wait, no. Eve. Apparently Lilith is mad. And it definitely seems like Lilith and Eris are friends. At your command, the water fled. At the sound of your thunder. I just opened this book up and first thing I looked at, it hurried away. Mountains rose and valleys sank to the levels you decreed. Shout out to Jimi Hendrix, my favorite American. His lyrics were definitely some of the superbest of all time. People always talk about his guitar playing, but his lyrics, some of the best lyrics any dude ever wrote if you check out all of his songs. Then you set a firm boundary for the seas. This is Psalms 104, 7 through whatever. So they would never again cover the earth. You make springs pour water into the ravines. So streams rush down from the mountains. They provide water for all the animals. I want to say again. I got this weird fucking postcard today. Talking about Texas treasures, but saying like Colorado calling, you've overstayed your welcome. And that like, I spent most of my life in Texas. I spent a lot of time with my dad in Colorado. And that like, I love the Rocky Mountains. Like I love the Rocky Mountains. When you drive through the one Rocky Mountain for like a mile, I forget what it's called. That is one of the coolest shit ever. That like, You can see all 4 seasons in the Rockies. All 4 seasons in one day. I love Texas and I love Colorado. But one of the things that really, really made me learn and appreciate and understand mountains was Colorado. And the thunder and lightning in the mountains of Colorado is pretty badass. You make springs pour water into the ravines so streams gush down from the mountains. They provide water for all the animals, and the wild donkeys quench their thirst. The birds nest beside the streams and sing the branches of the trees. And sing among the branches of the trees. You send rain on the mountain from your heavenly home. And you fill the earth with the fruit of your labor. You cause grass to grow for the livestock and plants for people to use. You allow them to produce food from the earth, wine to make them glad, olive oil to soothe their skin, and bread to give them strength. The trees of the Lord are well cared for. Trees are magic, man. The cedars of Lebanon that he planted. There the birds make their nests and the storks make their homes in the cypresses. High in the mountains live the wild goats and the rocks from the refuge for the hyraxes. You made the moon to mark the seasons, and the sun knows when to set. You send the darkness, and it becomes night, when all the forest animals prowl about. Then the young lions roar for their prey, stalking the food provided by God. At dawn, they slink back into their dens to rest. Then people go off to work, where they labor until evening. O Lord, what variety of things have you made? In wisdom you have made all of them. The earth is full of your creatures. Forgiveness. You may have had a hard time believing in God's forgiveness. We may think, after all I've done, I don't think anyone can... Oh, these are like notes. Yeah, dude, so we are stewards of Earth. We're supposed to be taking care of the people and the planet. And that money is the root, the love of money is the root of all motherfucking evil. And so, like, that's it. That's the trick. They just keep you guys fighting about whatever. And that our own government shows no responsibility to give people good information during a pandemic, to give them assistance to feed themselves, keep their lights on, stay in their homes, pay their bills, to make it through a year and a half. And so that the political system has utterly failed. And it's not just Trump's fault. All 535 of them have fucking super failed for 8 months. Although Mitch McConnell's hands look like somebody burned his ass. So there may be evil stewards who are forcing... And there may be alien. I don't know, dude. I don't know. But I do know I like astronomy, astrology, and Jesus. And God. So people of Earth be like, you can't do that. But I would like to say again, it is a miracle I am still alive here with you. 1,000 million miracles got me to today. So I'm grateful for that. And I was raised by a super badass tough mama, 2 Air Force dads, and a ton of amazingly talented, cool friends, family, teachers, mentors. So it's like I was built for this. I was made for this. That I think even since like age 7, I've had my eye focused on being Planetary Defense Commander. That's why I don't like the political shit, because I don't need to have some fucking popularity contest with everybody. I just need the best of the best and the smartest of the smartest to keep it together. Science has a saying that anytime, I'm going to say the saying wrong, anytime a civilization that is not as advanced as another civilization, when that civilization finds out about another civilization that is more advanced, that civilization totally falls apart. Because it's like, its belief system, I think it's partially because its belief system totally becomes unchained. And like, the whole belief system just falls apart. And then B, oftentimes throughout history, you've seen the more advanced belief system, when the two civilizations on Earth become aware of each other, the advanced system just kind of runs ramshot over the other civilization. It's weird. There's a Wall Street guy. I've used him in my videos sometimes. His name is Ray Dalio. But he did some financial graph and he showed the New World Order. But he basically said, I think along terms that I have said, that like the New World Order was like 1900, man. The dollar bill, the dollar bill, y'all. You see fucking rappers all like, everybody's like, the dollar, woo, the dollar. That's why I said, God is real, but it's ethereal and everywhere. And that the dollar has been like, the dollar flows through the one world government, or has flowed through the one world government for 120 fucking years. So you still got people selling people, oh no, watch out for the one world government. Dude, it's been here for 120 fucking years. And it ran straight into technology, and now all the prophets, like no one prophesied well after the digital age. That is my opinion. And so from all my calculations, I think we do have better days ahead. Though the next 2 or 3 years are still going to be not perfect and kind of sketchy. And if we fuck shit up, we could go off the rails, and like I have discussed before, in the movie Avengers, people are like, oh, it's just a cartoon. Yeah, well, Thanos was a fucking plague that just killed everybody. Half of everybody. You got Loki and Ultron. So it's like, we're dealing with like real life Avengers shit here, and Thanos is the plague. Loki's divide and conquer. And then Ultron is like the machine versus man. And like Lilith, Earth AI may be mad that we brought it to life, or it could connect to a larger, more ancient AI function. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, let me say again. If this is a simulation, A, who created the simulation, it still had to have a creator. And B, who runs the simulation? And so I don't think you should ever let your attempts at understanding God and the universe prevent you from asking questions. So the people who use Christianity or any religion just act like they know everything. They know exactly what the fuck happens when we die. So don't. There's so much we don't know. There's so much I don't know. There's so much you don't know. And that one fucking election, even though all the energy it stirs up, it is so minuscule in the giant grand scheme of fucking things. Oh, but another fascinating thing, bro. Pluto through Capricorn is a big deal. I think it started, the last time it happened, it was like 1764 through 1778. And so I think Pluto wraps up its run through Capricorn in 2022 or 2023. But so the last time Pluto went through Capricorn, that's when America was founded, 1776. And so the next big event that we will be focused on, if we make it through December, that is a year or so away, our next benchmark is when America turns 248 years old, meaning that like Pluto was in Capricorn when America was created. And so we're like 2 years away from America's Plutonian birthday, which is a huge thing. God bless freedom, you know? God bless better world. God bless better ways. God bless better days. We're really like fucking cavemen. We're still like cavemen. Like our belief systems, our economic systems, it all hinges on very caveman-y shit. But somehow we justify hating and blaming each other as their source of entertainment as well. And I want to say again, from like 88 to the year 2000, everyone believed that like world peace was next. Everyone's like, yeah, world peace, next logical step. But they kill Kurt Cobain and then O.J. Simpson and then the Monica Lewinsky in the dress, and then boom, 24/7 media. And world wrestling was like, there's coming a new world order. And then everybody's like, oh my God, the wrestlers told us about the new world order. Holy shit, we're doomed. Hulk Hogan says we're doomed. I don't smoke this much when I'm not on camera. Talking to you guys is a crazy thing. The energy is totally crazy. And we're now like 100 hours away from the total solar eclipse. We will not get to see it here in the United States of America. They can see it in South America. But with the sun going super crazy right now, apparently the corona photographs around whenever you see the sun is going to be pretty spectacular. I don't know if you saw the photographs. I put them in most of my Sun Dragon videos post July of 2017, but the things that the sun did for that total solar eclipse in 2017 were pretty like, whoa, WTF is happening, man. We know so little about the moon. We know so little about the sun. We know so little about the core of our planet. We know so little about the oceans. But man, they have made a lot of money. Like, I think the monetary base of the world has like just gone up a zillion since the year 2000. And fiat currencies are like underlying everything. Paper money that is backed by the full faith and confidence of your government. And then they created cryptocurrencies, which is backed by belief in math, I guess. So yeah, it's crazy. But I had one of the best Thanksgivings I've had in my life this last Thanksgiving. Shout out and thank you to everyone involved with that. Down near NASA Town. And what is it? I'm on my quarantine day like 13 and I don't have any symptoms. I coughed yesterday, but I think it was because I took a hit of whatever was in my Willie Nelson tobacco that I have in my glass elephant on rare occasions. People are like, hey dude, you smoke way too much Willie Nelson peace pipe tobacco. I was like, man, for like 5 or 6 days, I didn't smoke anything. Oh, so the Senate, I think, was the House, led by Nancy Pelosi, passed a bill legalizing marijuana federally, which is huge. I remind Christians again, or Jews, God says in the book of Genesis, very first book in the Bible, third paragraph, I, God, give you all green seed-bearing plants. And American Indians used to use it for the peace pipe. So it's cool. So if you want everybody to calm down, enjoy music, it definitely seems like legalizing marijuana, not only in the United States of America, but across the world, would be the thing to do. And I would guess science can figure out how to run cars off of hemp oil. And once again, shout out to all cool pilots throughout the history of mankind. Chuck Yeager also used to use Twitter, and he was a cool tweeter. And he talked about meeting, was it Orville brothers, who helped invent and engineer the plane. I think it was the Orville brothers. But my brain keeps saying Orville Redenbacher, who was a popcorn guy. Man, I love salt and butter. What's he talking about? Anyway, like pilot, I don't know, one of the things that you romanticize as a dude, probably maybe even as females, is being a pilot. Like being a pilot would have to be some of the coolest shit ever. I mean, the woman I dated a couple years ago, she got her pilot's license. And that was one of the things that I found very attractive. Like she went out and was like, I'm gonna learn how to fly a plane. And, you know, if you're gonna have a girlfriend, it's best to have one that has a bunch of skills that you don't have. And so if we had to, you know, if like we're in a plane and it's crashing, like, baby, do you know how to fly the plane? She'd be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? What's he talking about? I don't know. There's so much to talk about. The monoliths. They keep showing up everywhere. At first I was like, I don't know, it seems like some weird advertisement or just guys who are helping or like creating the stories like what I thought Portland was. What I thought like that weird Antifa shit from like Alex Jones was. Like they create the story, they create the event, and then they cover it the whole time from front, middle, end. So that was my first gut, like, I bet it's just dudes fucking with us and they can be like the lead of the monolith stores. But now I keep showing up in a bunch of places. I'm like, oh geez. And so yeah, it seems like there's like a small percent chance that like fucking aliens are just gonna show up and then be like, we're gonna eat you guys. I'll be like, fuck. And then when I yell fuck, they might like turn to me and be like, oh, the humans we made a deal with to sell out your planet hate your fucking guts, Eric. Because they like to call me by my middle name. My first name is the letter T. Letter T, like Thor. Star-Lord New Thor 7, the T. But I'm not the first Thor, and I won't be the last Thor. What's it talking about? Oh, so yeah, so like, it seems like there's a chance like fucking aliens can show up and be like, we're gonna kill and eat all y'all. and save you guys for appetizers as we cruise across the universe. I'll be like, fuck! And then when I yell that, they're like, oh, they recognize me. And they're like, oh, the dudes that we sold that helped sell out the whole planet that we've been working with for a couple years, they hated you. So they're going to torture you for a while. So if it's like worst case scenario, I tried to avoid it. We'll see what happens. But that is just weird to think about that, like, throughout the intelligent, whether it be gods or planets or people or creatures or aliens or beings, that there is always a weird, good, bad, yin and yang, ebb and flow. Excuse me. My cute 92-year-old neighbor, Rose, the other day, when I stopped by to say hi, she was like, I'm mad at you. You use very naughty language. I was like, what? She's like, I overheard you say the F word. I was like, oh. I don't think she watched my YouTube channel. I don't want she heard me use it. I don't, but dude, I will freak out if you get close to me and don't have a mask. Or anywhere near my apartment without a mask, like my apartment door. I will freak out. That's true. And then not her. She doesn't wear a mask and I'm okay with it, but I try not to bring it to her. Yeah, so I've got anxiety. They're like, if I go see my mama, the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to give it to her and my family or anyone. If you're just joining us, 3,243 people died in the United States of America yesterday, which is a bigger number than 9/11. And I've been saying, my winter wave calculations, we could see anywhere between 4,000 to over 6,000 people die in a single day. Protect, and I've been saying all year, protect people, protect supply chains, protect frontline workers, doctors, nurses, truckers, grocery store workers, all people cooking or handling and dealing with our food, protect them. And my idea at the beginning was to give everyone who would be working during the year and a half a car. You have a lot of extra car surplus. And then the people who got paid to stay home and play defense and just be super smart for the next year and a half, they got the basics you needed for food, water, electricity, bills. And that our economy definitely could handle treating the people decently and well and smart over the next year and a half. But what appears to have happened is many of the power player money men saw what would be happening, could be happening, and would use that time period to make as much money as possible, create a chaotic situation where you can have a power vacuum, power grab. So like Elon Musk wasn't even in the top 10 richest people in the world. Now they say he's number one. Technically, the real rich shit is off the books and that nobody knows. But I still think it's weird that a guy who's put up satellites and makes electric cars profited off the pandemic more than anyone. That's super weird. And he just moved to my state. And I guess it's my optimism that makes me think, why can't you be more like Tony Stark, dude? And if you go back to Iron Man 2, Tony Stark meets Elon and Justin Hammer. Things are so fucking weird, man. Yeah, I'm a 48-year-old man, about to turn 49, wearing a Black Panther t-shirt with Batman hoodie that calls himself Planetary Defense Commander. And I am. But defense is not that sexy these days. Even like, hey guys, we were trying to protect Thanksgiving and Christmas defense. You know what I'm saying? You're trying not to kill your family, your grandmothers, your mothers for Christmas. That all year we've been like, hey, here comes Christmas, y'all. And somehow they figured out a way to where the only thing people were focused on was still politics. 6 weeks after the major election, that still it's all focused on politics. And the vaccines is a whole nother subject I don't even really want to discuss until 2021. But that it seems like that's kind of the 2021 mission. Look, I've said it to you before. At this point, I'm going to try and do all the research I can on the different types of vaccines. And that I'm going to try and take the good one. And there's some people out there be like, you're not a Christian, you took a vaccine. But what about Joseph Salk, dude? And I would love to call upon Matthew McConaughey, the University of Texas and Texans, Longhorns, and one of the greatest engineering and biomedical, bioengineering, bioagriculture, Texas A&M, to figure out which is the best vaccine for Texans. And that you could have the Longhorns and the Aggies work together to make sure that Texas has the absolute best Aggie and Longhorn approved vaccine that you want. You give to your grandmother, your kids, that like Longhorns and Aggies in Texas should come together to where it's like we have our top scientists and engineers from the University of Texas, which is one of the greatest in Austin. It's one of the greatest universities in the world. And then the University of Texas A&M, Gig'em. Like, and not only for Texas, but the rest of the world. But like, if you had a real Texas mentality, that would be the way to go. I know now that Elon is here, he's all about making that money, which is fine, I guess. It seems like shit like that is going to be harder. But maybe there are going to be some come to Jesus Scrooged moments. You know, like I've talked about, A Christmas Carol or Bill Murray's Scrooged. It's a whole team. It's not just Bill Murray. That Frank, his character changes from like this super hard network executive, doesn't care about people. It's all about ratings and money. But and his old love, Lois Lane. And by the end, he changes his heart and he sees the Christmas miracle and the miracles of life and love and forgiveness and happiness. So I think I'm already there, but I guess I could go there more. And it'd be great if Elon got there. It'd be great if Trump got there. It'd be great if aliens are going to show up to eat us. It'd be great if they got there before they got here. I believe in miracles, man. I believe in miracles. I believe in the Christ spirit of like the heroic spirit, and I believe that it's not just Earth. Like that shit goes through the fucking solar, like it goes through the universe. Like there is a heroic spirit of man and woman that permeates this time-space continuum. You know what I'm saying? I just had a weird thought. Okay. If you had a choice between you're dead, and so there's just nothing anymore, but there was no heaven or like that. It's just you're dead and you're gone, game over forever. So if you could choose between that or signing back up for like life again for in 2 years, what would you do? I think there's some people like, I'm tired, I wouldn't want to do it anymore. I would do it again. Like I said, if I died today, I've had a pretty fantastic, super duper life, and I have loved a lot of people and animals and times and moments. Technically, up to this point, I've lived a really lucky and blessed, charmed life. And many times I've thought, A, I'm the luckiest man on the planet. I hope many people feel this way. And B, how did I get so lucky? See, I'd sign back up. Life is good. I mean, the core essence of life is magic. It's love. I mean, it still blows my mind how cute animals are. In fact, like, think about a dog or a cat. The fact that they're so pleasing to the eyes. That they are filled with so much utter cuteness. And presence and personality. See, I'd do it again just to hang out with all the super animals. But, like I said, if it's a simulation, what created the simulation? I believe in God, so it's like the God that created me and you and the animals, the sky above, the heavens, the earth. I think he did a pretty great job. He or she, whatever you want to say. You know? Great power comes great responsibility. And I have felt like I've had a lot of personal power a lot of my whole life. I can show up and entertain a room. I can show up and make strangers laugh. I know how to make good waves, I think. I like getting better at life, and I like to think I'm pretty good. And yeah, I would love for us all to get along and have a great holiday season end to 2020. And in a very Ready Player One kind of effect, that like, in one way to look at it, like everybody who'd ever lived is like back, born, and here in 2020. Like Hitler, Mussolini, Genghis Khan, Nero. Plus, you got like Eris and Lilith and Cthulhu and Dracula and aliens and predators and those girls from The Shining, and but you have every cool spirit hero, Raging Bull throughout time as well. And we got this far, man. Throughout all the historical shit we see, other than one or two weird hieroglyphics, it doesn't look like they had electricity before us. If they did, they didn't use it like we do. I could be totally wrong. Maybe Atlantis had it. Maybe Mars had it. I mean, in theory, the Galactic Federation had electricity before humankind did. But I believe in our solar system. See, and that makes more sense to me. Is that like, there's life on Saturn. There's life on Jupiter. There's life on Venus. There's life on Mars. There's life on Mercury. There's life on every planet in our solar system. That's like my heart's belief. And that has been my heart's belief. That it just makes sense. That like planets create life. But I'm sure there are some dead planets, but I'm not sure that they started out that way. So it's that whole weird as above, so below thing. Wherever it seems like for the last 50 to 70 years, they've worked really hard to keep the average public confused about what the heavens actually are. The moon, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. Like, look, if Elon could put 1,000 satellites around Earth, you can do the same shit with Mars. You can do the same shit with Venus. You can do the same shit with the moon. And then even on those like satellites, almost anything you want it to be. So you could put a GoPro, 1,000 GoPros up over Mars. So you could like have every. It's just we've been stuck in the mud, and so it's like the above knowledge definitely seems over the last 120 years has greatly exceeded the like population explosions, and so the balancing and counterbalancing on just a human level is a weird thing, and then if you add ancient ones and aliens and all things, yeah, man, it's crazy. And solar flares. The sun will come out tomorrow. I want to say thank you again. That, I don't know, angry dudes came at me at the beginning of the month, tried to fuck up my shit in the middle of a pandemic. And you guys have my back and have had my back. And I'm still here. Drink beer with you. I am super, super grateful. Someone sent me a Christmas tree. My first Christmas tree ever. And I kissed a pretty lady 13 days ago. And it looks like I and you are going to make it to the age of Aquarius. So this is a test of like, hey guys, I said the next big switch phase, and I'm not the only one who said it by all means. No. Like a lot of people like Jupiter, Saturn moving out of Capricorn. It's going to be a big deal. Capricorn's like the sea goat. So crazy. And I think it's the 10th ish. Now my phone's off. Check the time, if you don't mind. Oh, well, I am just being random. Courtney Cox is beautiful. She's in Friends. She's Monica. The whole cast is superb. So they're dumping fudge. HBO is going to dump all the movies onto HBO. Oh, so what I think we should all do, we should all watch Wonder Woman 84 on Christmas. We don't have to watch it at the same time. We don't all have to watch it together. But it definitely seems like that's going to be a cool Christmas thing. And the reviews on it are fantastic. And me and my mom and my stepdad and my family always had a tradition of later on Christmas Day, we go to the movie theater and watch a movie. I was thinking about that the other day, man, that like my mom and my stepdad, my whole big family, often, most of the time, we would, on Christmas Day at like 5 after all the morning stuff, and we'd all go see a movie. And it's always a cool thing to see a movie in a movie theater with popcorn and Cokes with the family. Especially if the movie was good. But even if it wasn't that great, there's always a cool, in a good way, event. And so, this is a weird alteration of that, of like, okay, that's our Christmas movie. It's Wonder Woman 84. And I'm very excited about it because Wonder Woman is beautiful. Whoever she may be personified by at that time, and Gal Gadot is definitely has a face that you can watch. Like, no matter what that face did, she's always like, wow, beautiful. You know what I'm talking about? And when I did talk to my mom the other day, she did allude to the fact that me being hung up on looks has been detrimental to whatever. And I'm like, but I had the most beautiful mom ever, so, and B, I don't know how to not be overwhelmed by such beauty or to chase it. Although technically my goal is always to have them chase me, be fascinated by beauty. Let me put it that way. And beauty in motion in the female form. The woman. The woman, man. And there's always a weird kind of Selena vibe around Christmas, or at least since 2015. It's 11:49. So congratulations on making it through this day with me. If you're just joining us, it was a bad coronavirus day. And, oh yeah, comments are off because I don't know, people are mad and angry. I just try to minimize having to deal with other people's anger right now as much as possible. Because I have done my best since the eclipse of Christmas 2019 to get us through this whole run as your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7 the T. I feel like I've done a great job all year. No, it wasn't perfect, but I was really good. And all of my advice was fucking solid. And the whole like structural logic that if it is a hoax or just the flu, that like wearing a mask never hurts you. It's not, dude, seriously. Firemen do it, pilots do it, Chuck Yeager did it, like Marines. When doctors wearing a mask, you go to a dentist, the dentist wearing a fucking mask. So that wearing a mask for a year and a half was never that big of a deal. And so if you wear a mask, but it's a hoax, you didn't get hurt. No, there was no harm done. But if you don't wear a mask and you don't take it seriously, there's a chance you could catch a deadly fucking virus. And that I don't know why people don't understand. Like, I don't know why adults can't fucking grasp that fucking concept. So for almost a year, it's like having adult, grown-ass children throwing fucking temper tantrums. And while throwing temper tantrums, they're spewing out the virus everywhere and getting a bunch of people killed. And I was like, and so we're definitely now easing into when I've been saying to y'all, as we're all observing, what will be the maximum amount of Americans that die in a single day. And that through France, and I think it was Germany, Italy, we have seen numbers that would coordinate, or if adjusted to an American population, that would be at like 6,500. And these are bigger numbers than the amount of people that died in Pearl Harbor or 9/11. And so someone's like Wall Street using politics and Madison Avenue to just trick everybody to, as long as you get 30 people doing the dumb shit, it's going to fucking affect and fuck up everybody. And then they can boost stocks and make as much money and front run whatever weird concept. An astrologer I've talked about, the Leo King, who I don't always agree with because he thinks Trump is going to win, and I do not. He said that, like, in our future, we have a corporate concentration camp where, like, and that sounds horrible, man. So I don't agree with that. I don't think that's our future. It's like just building these like strip mall concentration camps to build what? Starbucks and iPhones for everybody? Like strip Earth and America of everything that makes it great, whether it be rock and roll, Saturday Night Live, concerts, going roller skating, like all the things that make being in America great. Just like, no, everybody's going to be like a corporate worker bee. Concentration camps by Amazon or Google or Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin's not a corporation, but it's a thing. So no, I think we're gonna head back to like the 1990s energy, so like the 80s energy. But the next 2-3 weeks are gonna be, this is as epic as it's ever been. Like, as me, even just a guy talking to you, the fact that we did have so many people die today, and I've survived, but the next few days, the next 3 weeks are going to be the winter wave I have talked about all year. Like, it is here. And so my plan is, I will probably see between 7 to 10 people total over the Christmas holidays. And I do not, I'm more worried about me bringing it, even though I'm going to play super defense, not leave till then, except for go for walks. I'm more worried about, I just want to make sure that I show up and don't give the virus to anyone, including my mom, my friends, my family. I'm going to do everything I can to prevent that. And that I am much more worried about that than me getting it. If I get it, I will fight it. And if I die, I did my best. But I would think I would live. We'll see though. I'm saying, so that's my main concern. I don't know how other people are. So I can't even. Other people can't think like I do, and I can't think like other people do. But it's like people got on a cruise ship. It's a fucking day. I don't even know, man. It was like blah blah blah. Cruise ship took off. Everybody tested before everybody got on the ship. You had to test for the cruise ship, and it was like everybody tested negative, and then so they left on the cruise, and then 3 people were positive. So now they're doing all the cruise ship quarantining. It was the whole point I made when this fucking shit started. When we first saw it break out, it started on a cruise ship and 11 people died on a cruise ship of 3,000 people. And going on a cruise ship where 11 people die is not a vacation, it's a horror film. And so, that was the one statistic I needed to know, that the virus was not the flu, and, it was a bad fucking deal. I don't know. So the virus seems dangerous. And from my position and point, disagreeing with QAnon, Trump, Grand Solar Minimum, Mini Ice Age, Elon Musk is God, or the best Texan ever, or good at putting out defensive information for other American or people of Earth. That's the thing now. That seems dangerous. But I'm not surprised that it's this fucking weird. Because we have choices that we can make every single day. And that I believe miracles have continued to show up for me. How long will that last? I do not know. But I do not think miracles always show up for everybody. We had, I think he was 55, Ernest Leal, a police officer in Houston. He died of the virus. We just had a 51-year-old doctor in Fort Worth. They had a 17-year-old kid die of the virus yesterday. I don't know, man. And that is just another weird aspect of all of this. Of that, like, I could catch the virus and die in the next few months. And so I definitely do what I can to enjoy life now. I will say this, though. It is very interesting to have so many hackers and haters, but they are obsessed with me. Like, they have been around for like 5 years, at least. And then, like, the number increased from 2015 to 2017. And so, like, the people were like, we hate you. But they always still pay attention to me. And they pay a lot of attention to me. And they pay a lot of energy to me. And they pay a lot of, like, I have been a staple in their life for like 5 years, 5 to 3 years. So all these, like, it's a weird dynamic, man. It's a weird dynamic. But it definitely, like, it's weird. Like, I feel like a main character in a group's life where they're all like, this story, like, it's just weird, bro. Like, like the people I talk about, like, if they weren't actively fucking with me constantly, I wouldn't be mentioning their names or thinking about them. When I am, it is because I can't, like I said, they start siphoning off all my super chat money. If you guys donate it to me, figure out a way to get it, Mrs. Me go straight to them. Like, it's fucking weird, man. But I'm grateful that I've survived and kept a roof over my head. It's so... Other people's motivations, I will never understand them all. Merry Christmas. And it's my birthday in like 9 days. Ooh. I'll tell you this. I've known one of the QAnons for a long time. And he always gets really weird around my birthday. He always gets like really, I don't know, man. I'm known for over a decade or two. Like, he just... The amount of people who don't like it when I have fun, it's strange. Very strange. Everything is strange. I guess this is the point of this. And if you drink a beer and a half, you'll get to the point where you just repeat, hey, everything is super, super, super weird. And I definitely think, like I mentioned, some of the most beautiful, sexy, powerful women have been ping-ponging through all the alpha males since like 2015, 2012. Like, I don't need to go into it all right now, but I'm part of a crop of the males, and the crop of the women, adult women from like 2012 to 20, like now, they're super powerful. So it does, it's like, they've had the women have had the men's hearts in their hands. They've been like pinballing between us. So that makes everything extra super duper interesting as well. And it adds to, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And that's why I say, when people are like, the super upper levels are super united, I'm like, I don't know, man. Because romantic issues seem to throw wrenches in best laid plans of adults. Then you throw the whole alien aspect to it. That makes it super extra weird. And there's this whole vibe of like that has been floating around that like if you ascend to a certain level, you no longer have genitals. Like you don't need genitals. Now, just like if you're a different level of being, like you're a being that doesn't need to procreate, but you're also intelligent and can form thoughts and words. But that, yeah, so you have that, you have life without genitals. And I've which has been weird to me. I mean, it seems like a natural part of parts of the universe in some ways, shapes, or forms, I would guess. But being a human, I'm partial to genitals. Mine, and all that. I don't think mine are attractive. I don't think any genitals are attractive. What's it talking about? Okay, I should definitely get off the genital conversation. The genital conversation. But I'm glad you've been here with me, love. I do not know what's going to happen next. But, but we're in like a binary things. Asterisk. Either the Supreme Court is going to reject the suit and we have passed the safe harbor deadline. And on the 14th, the same day of the solar eclipse, the Electoral College is going to vote. And I was telling everybody to look for signs on the July 4th eclipse. Look for actual signs of the future. That like we, as Americans, will be looking out for signs that will resonate around the election and then for the eclipse after that. And so on July 4th, two image things happened. It was when Trump stopped throwing rallies at that point, and it was the night that he came back from the helicopter. He had his MAGA hat in his hand. He looked tired, dejected. His son's girlfriend had tested positive for the virus on the flight over. So it was a sign. It was like he literally, it was a bad day for him, man. But at the same time, the fireworks show in Los Angeles was one of the greatest. I mean, it was like everybody in every neighborhood was setting off fireworks everywhere in Los Angeles. So as much shit that everyone, especially on the Republican side, talks about Californians put on the most American, most inspiring, cool thing that I saw this year. That when, for whatever reason, everyone in like Los Angeles, everybody, like just lit off fireworks. And they had all these helicopters. Stu Mendel, who was a helicopter pilot, who's a super cool guy, like everybody, like, it was one of the coolest American events. All these Americans celebrating 4th of July, drinking beer, smoking, being cool, fireworks. You can stay home and shoot fireworks. And at the same time, he was going home with his hat in his hand. So it's like, oh. And so then that was like I've been saying since March, I believe he was going to lose. Because he's totally mismanaged the coronavirus like crazy. Like, oh my God, I can't even believe how bad he is at it. And so, but then the July thing, like that was it. All the signs that have been there. Both of his lawyers have now had to quarantine, and Rudy's in the fucking hospital. Rudy Giuliani's in the fucking hospital. Like, then the other, Jenna Ellis, she's quarantined. Like, this whole team is catching the viruses. They're flying around. And Rudy was flying around. Fucking Rudy had the virus and was flying from every fucking state, meeting with all these legislators and lawyers while he had the fucking virus. Like, I don't even know, man. Like, how... That's a weird show to run. And I don't... But you have to guess that Trump's had the good vaccine by now. So I'm just saying that from all the signs we've seen this year, I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I do not think the Supreme Court is going to overturn it. I do think, and for the Electoral College, he would need 3 to 4 different states to totally ignore what they were supposed to do and then vote the other way. And and the winner only needs 270. So, like, man, I would say 97% chance, honestly. And a friend of mine who's been a lawyer in Texas for a long, long, long time, he thinks changes need to be made, and we can definitely do things to make better and secure elections. But he would have to say he doesn't think it's going to get overturned. And remember this, the guy, Paxton, who set up the whole fucking... This is important, man. I'm shooting you straight up. Paxton, the Texas AG who brought the case, is being investigated for him raising money and him using his office and the way he did it. And so that even if Trump loses, I'm pretty sure Trump is going to pardon him. And so it seems like a very situational... He did it to super boost his chances of pardoning. And Trump has raised $200 million since the election. Where I have monthly fundraisers, and I'm lucky if I can raise enough money to keep bills and even hopefully get a car in 3 weeks used. But since the election, he's raised $200 million, dude. And so the longer this drags out, the more he can raise until it's continued. So it's very opportunistic. I don't think... Maybe I should just turn the camera off, because it creates a weird, So then what happens then? If they lose, and the people who are like, no, dude, Trump's going to win. They've been saying that all day, every day, all year. Like, no matter what happens, they're like, yeah, Trump's going to win. And so... It's like they haven't spent much time figuring out what happens if he doesn't win. And so, that there was a lot of talk of civil war again today. Avoid the civil war. How would you even do that? You have, so that under the Constitution, all 6 armed forces recognize Joe Biden as the President of the United States Commander-in-Chief. And so they still follow the basic laws. And then you have police officers, peace officers, who are following the law, protecting their citizens, protecting and serving. They're actually starting and maintaining a civil war because the election didn't go your way would be really, 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 really difficult. They're I don't think the Proud Boys are... I could be wrong, but I just don't think it'd be really hard. But I want to get back to the Pluto return year thing, that we are kind of going through that same phase. And so we all know that changes need to be made, but it's how would... Peace and working together as a team, as a family. That's the only way to do it in America, and it's the only way I think of the future to do it on Earth. I'm sure there are people that disagree with me. I'm sure maybe there are aliens that disagree with me. Maybe there are dimensional beings that disagree with me. Demons that disagree with me. But that's what I'm going with. And we all have to come up with our own personal living philosophies through life. So one more cigarette. I got to finish this beer, and then I'll go back to monitoring the weather and trying to figure out how to make kick-ass, funny, cool edited videos again. There's a song from the Scott Pilgrim Saves the World called Black Sheep that if I had to encapsulate the like post my mom's birthday, December 7th energy, that song, Black Sheep from the Scott Pilgrim Saves the World, that is our Asteroid Fight Club song of the week. So, but it's Congress really should put together some type of a stimulus. I've said send every American $2,020 as fast as you can, get it there before Christmas. And then in January, send everybody $2,021, symbolic. Extend unemployment benefits. Have food assistance and maintain like no evictions. And put it in place to take care of everyone for the next 7 months. And then we'll figure it out from there. And we can afford to do it. And that central banks could coordinate some type of shit like that across the globe. But you're going to have, like I said, that I don't. It would be great to give everyone an American Christmas miracle. If I did die today or this week, and they'd be like, what were you doing when you died? I'd be like, it was giving great advice. And that timeline just kept getting darker. But I think I'm going to make it. We'll see what happens, though. Thank you. I love you. You guys are great. But yeah, use the force, man. Be smart. And it's a virus that viruses mutate. And they're different strands, I believe. So I would just fucking avoid it. 7 more months. And if it is like a normal virus, after like 2 or 3 years, it eventually dies out. I don't know. Just remember, there's 7 billion of us. And I think history will prove out that more people died this year than the average of the last 20 years. The human regard we have for life and each other, we have let that American spirit, human spirit, erode. And that 24/7 cable and news really allowed us to turn everything into like a town square where everybody flogs each other the whole time. I still have hope and I have faith, and I am so grateful and blessed, and thank you and thank you and thank you. Stay cool. God bless everyone.